Hi everybody. So I came onto the classroom a little earlier today because we've had a few connection issues. So I'm going to start by saying hi to everybody, and I hope you can now see me. So hi, can you now see me on the video? Hopefully your answer is yes, you can see me. So if you're in the live classroom and the video is working, please send me a quick message to say hi and that you can see the video. Now, as you know, when it's a live stream, I can't tell who's on the other end of the classroom because I can only see me. I can't see you. So if there's still a problem with the connection, if you send me a message, we will work that out together. So hi everybody, welcome to your entry-level classroom, and we're going to begin with good afternoon. Now, some people think that this is a formal way of talking, but in actual fact, I say this all the time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and you'll find we discuss quite a lot what's the difference between evening and night. And some people feel that evening is round about 7, 8 o'clock. But night time is really by the time you've got to about 9 o'clock. There's no hard and fast rules. So good afternoon, and if you're in the classroom, please let us know by just saying hi. So today we're going to look at what's the weather like where you are, because on Sunday I was in my garden and it snowed twice. Yes, I didn't really expect snow in March, so snow was quite a nice thing to see because it didn't snow enough to settle, but it snowed enough for us to realise that that was the weather we were getting. And did you know that there's two ways to use the word weather? So, whether the weather is hot, whether the weather is not, we like to talk about the weather, whether others like it or not. So it's quite important if you're working at entry level 3 that you think about using that word weather, W-H-E-T-H-E-R. So for weather that we're always talking about, then that's really to do with when we're using weather as a noun, and that's about the disturbance in the air and whether or not we get wind or snow, which you're all very clear about. You understand all of that. But this weather, W-H-E-T-H-E-R, is a really important word to use when you're talking or writing, because it's used to show two alternatives, suggestion of two different things. Sometimes it mentions one thing, whether the weather is hot or not. So the second thing is implied, that means suggested. So if I talk about something, whether it's hot or not, I'm implying, I'm suggesting that the opposite to hot is cold. So it's quite a useful word to use when you're looking at improving your English. And we all know about the weather that we have outside. So for your work, when you're looking at everyone being back in the classroom, think about how you use the word weather, W-H-E-T-H-E-R. And yesterday I was in the garden. It snowed. This is actually true. I didn't make that up. I don't know what the weather's been like where you are, but I only get to see it when I go outside because, like you, we're all at home and I don't go anywhere other than in the garden. So when it snowed in my garden, that really surprised me. And I wanted to tell you today about a phrase that we use that involves the word snow but has nothing whatsoever to do with weather. So often we use this phrase, snowed under. Snowed under means overworked. So if you hear someone saying, "Oh, I'm snowed under," it doesn't mean they're underneath the snow. It hasn't got anything to do with weather. It really means I've got too much work. So practice using that. It's quite a good phrase to use. I'm just snowed under. I hope you're not all snowed under with work from the college or from the classes that you've been doing. Snowed under. And you know, here is somebody actually sitting in the snow. And if you were in my classes last year or the year before, you might know who this person is. And so we asked the question, who is this in the snow? So who is this? Because we're talking about a picture we can see, or I can see right in front of me. Who is this in the snow? Because as you can see, this person is actually lying inside the snow. Now, I know our children do that. They call it making snow angels, where they just dive into the snow and lie in the snow. But I don't think I would be lying like that. It looks far too cold. So when I asked, who is this in the snow? A number of people answered. And you know, Mahassan got the answer correct. So I'm not going to look at what people have said there. I'm just showing it you as an example. So if you think you know who that person might be in the snow, write it up on the live chat. It could be anybody. So we're looking at questions today, and we're looking at how do you use the verb or the adjective when you're answering a question. And I want to look at weather questions so that you're very clear where we don't use the noun. So the first question that I'm looking at, the example is, how's the weather? Well, we talk about the weather to start a conversation. And some of us, particularly if you're from England like me, we can talk about the weather forever. And this can surprise some people, but we do it to connect with other people because everybody understands weather. But sometimes we don't say, what's the weather like? Sometimes we say, how's the weather? Or if I'm in my house and I'm phoning my son, I might say, how's the weather where you are? How's the weather? It means the same as, what's the weather like? So if you say it is snow, that's wrong because you've used a noun. You've used snow. So the correct way to answer would be to use an adjective, snowy, it is snowy, or to use a verb, snowing, it is snowing. And this is the same when you look at other types of weather. So if you're looking at wind, for example, it's wrong to say it is wind because wind is the noun. But you can say it is windy, or there's a lot of wind today. So think about how you answer questions. And this is the same for when you're talking, not just when you're actually writing. And think about when we're talking, we use different types of questions that mean the same thing. So somebody saying, how's the weather? It means, what's the weather like? I know, it's funny. So now here's your turn. What is the weather like? And on the screen you can see a picture of my garden, and this is my garden when we had quite a lot of snow, and it's my front garden, and in front of my front garden I've parked my car, so you can see that the snow has absolutely covered my car. And can you see the footsteps there, just walking away from the car? and you can see where somebody's walked onto the pavement, and you can see the bins that we put outside that have got quite a deep part of snow on them there. So if I asked you, what's the weather like in this picture? Oh, and Shinny has come on to say, if I say it's cloudy today, it's correct. Yes, it is. Well done. You can say it's cloudy today, but you don't say it's cloud. So fantastic, Shinny, and hi, it's good to see you. So what's the weather like in this picture then, do you think? Let's have a look at the answers. How's the weather? It's the same as what's the weather like. It's snowy. That's an adjective. That's the same as saying cloudy. So Shinny said, if she says it's cloudy, that's correct because that's your adjective. It's snowy. It's cloudy. It's snowing. You could use a verb. But if you're talking about cloud, Shinny's got the right answer there, because when you're talking about cloud, you can't say it's clouding. You can say there's a lot of cloud, or you can say it's cloudy today. And I really like Shinny's sentence, because if you say it's cloudy today, that's a really good sentence to use. But remember, never say it's cloud or it's snow, because that's not correct. Good to see you in the classroom. If you're on and say hi. Oh, good to see Carolina. Hi, everybody. So I'm just going to type hi, and often I say I trust. I mean, I hope you are all well. So everybody in the classroom today, when I say I trust, it means I hope you're all well. Shinny, it's good to see that she's okay. Carolina, I trust you and your family are all good. Yes? Oh, Yasmin, good to see you. Hi, I trust you are well. It feels like a long time since I've seen everybody, and I really miss you all. So thank you so much for coming into this classroom, because when I see you saying hi, it makes me feel really good. So, what's it like out? That's another phrase that we use. What's it like out? It means the same as what's the weather like? Ah, Abbas, good to see you. So the link worked. Hi. I trust you are all well, and your daughter's well. You're okay, that's good, thank you. So have you heard people ask this question? What's it like out? It just means what's the weather's like. Oh, thank you, Yasmin. Yes, it's good that you tell me that you miss me too, because I really do miss all the classes. And you know, I've been listening to the information from the college and the other areas about class, and it does seem like we might be doing these online classes for quite a while. Hopefully it won't be longer than 12 weeks. For those of you who have children in school, there's still some discussion about whether schools will go back in 12 weeks or whether it will be a later time like September. Nobody knows, so this makes us all feel a little bit anxious, but we're all in the same boat, so that means we're all in it together. None of us have the answer, but if there's anything you're not sure of, please ask me. Yesterday somebody asked me, what does it mean when we have the advertisement on the television that says protect the NHS? What it really means. Hi Kurdstein, good to see you. What it really means is that we have to stay at home to keep well, and then this will protect the people who work in the NHS, and it will mean that our hospitals will be able to deal with the sick a lot quicker because there won't be as many people. But during this time, we're all sat inside. So I'm looking out of the window and I think, what's it like out? because I don't know about you, but I'm not allowed out anywhere. So I don't see people. I just see my husband and my boys and the cats. And I'm allowed out in the garden to have a little bit of exercise there, but I can't go shopping or do other things that means that I see people. So I hope you're all keeping well and that you're all managing to get the shopping. I'm really lucky because my husband does the shopping for me, so I don't need to worry. So what's it like out? Well, if we say what's it like out, that's suggesting to somebody that your English is really good, because that's a phrase, a question. The phrase, what's it like out, is really something just an English person would say, rather than what's the weather like. And so we sometimes use this phrase, raining cats and dogs. Does anybody know what that means? It's quite a silly phrase really, isn't it, if you think about it? It's raining cats and dogs. We use it all the time. And a little bit later in the video, I'll tell you what it means. So I just want you to think about it now. What do you think it means? But if you said it is rain, that would be incorrect, because rain is a noun. So we're looking for an adjective or a verb. It's rainy. Yes, that's an adjective. So you can use that. That's the correct answer to the question, what's the weather like, or what's it like out? It is raining. That's your verb. So that's another correct answer. But English people might say, it's raining cats and dogs. And we don't mean cats and dogs are dropping out of the sky. So, have you heard this expression before? I use this a lot. So, what is the weather like? Is the same as what's it like out? What's the weather doing? This is a strange question we use sometimes. So, Shinny stays at home. Yes, your children are at home and you're like me. You can't go outside. And I'm really pleased that you stay safe with your children, because that's really important for all of us. So what's the weather like? You can only see through the window, Shinny, can't you? Because you're at home. So you might say, oh, you can't say it's sun. That's a noun. And we decided, didn't we, that if you're answering a question about the weather, you can't use the noun. That's wrong. So you can't say it's sun. You can use an adjective. It's sunny. We hope that it will be sunny tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to spend some time in the garden. I hope, because I haven't seen the weather forecast yet, so I don't know if it's going to be sunny or not. And we can say the sun is shining, because shining is your verb. So if you're going to use the noun sun, then you have to use it in a sentence. The sun is shining, yes? And I think out of that, it's remembering, use an adjective or a verb when you're answering a question about the weather. If you use the noun, wind, rain, sun, then you have to put it in an actual sentence. The sun is shining. Oh, I hope it is. And here's an example of that word I used, forecast. That means prediction. Now, we've done prediction in class before, and I talked about prediction being making a decision about something. Sometimes that's a bit of a guess, but we call it an educated guess, because this is something that you've decided upon by looking at the facts. So you might hear this word. These are words you may hear. Forecast is a prediction of the weather for the future. And I don't know about how you look at the weather, but we often look at the weather in terms of the 5-day or 7-day forecast. So Shini, I can see you've got a really good sentence there. It's cloudy. It's cloudy where you are. I can't see whether it's cloudy where I am because I've got all the curtains closed so that you can see the PowerPoint. So according to the 5-day forecast or the 7-day forecast, it means what's likely to happen in the next 7 days. Now remember, here it tells you that the forecaster is a person who forecasts. So the weather forecaster, that's the person, but they're predicting the weather. This means it might not be correct, except when you live in England, because we always say it's going to rain. It's going to rain. That's the forecast, but I don't know if it will. Oh, there we go. We've lost something there. I think that was the PowerPoint telling me that it's very tired and it's had 2 goes on there today. So what we're looking at are words that we use when we're thinking about our weather. And I'm looking at whether you understand that we need to use the adjective and the verb to talk about the weather, and that we don't talk about the noun. And Shini's just told me it's cloudy where she is. So what's it like where you are? And I'm going to write here, it is. And I see Shini's done a really good it's. So that's quite good. So it is dark where I am, so I cannot see the weather. But that doesn't really make sense. So I take out the weather and I put, I cannot see what the weather is like. So if I was talking about the weather, I would say it's dark where I am, so I can't see what the weather is like. What's it like where you are? Let's see if somebody can tell me what's the weather is like where you are. Is it cloudy like where Shini is? So Shini, where are you? Are you in Doncaster or Rotherham? Where are you at the moment? Doncaster, Rotherham, whereabouts are you? And I'm just checking up on the PowerPoint here because the lead has come a little bit awry and we've lost our signal. So I'm going to move on then. If you get the chance to put what your weather is like there, that would be good. I'm just going to disappear from the screen for a moment because I want to get something. So I talked to you about my cats. Oh yes, Shini's in Doncaster. So Carolina, where are you? Shini is in Doncaster. So we say yes, I'm in Doncaster. Where are you, Shini? You're in Doncaster. Where are you, Yasmin? Where are you, Kurdstan? Let's see if people will answer. And in the meantime, I just want to show you this. What's this? Now, some people would say this is really a toy. Well, it isn't, because in its back it has a little zip. And when you pull the zip down and you take this out. Now, have you heard of Scentsy? Things that we sometimes have in our home that we have as wax or as other sides. Oh, Carolina, yes, you're in Doncaster. That's good. I'm in Doncaster as well. And so I have this inside this cat and it smells really nice. Oh, Yasmin is in Rotherham. Very close, Doncaster and Rotherham together. So that's 2 different classes. So well done today. And we zip this up, and then even though I'm not a child, I can smell that that's really rather nice. So sometimes I have little things in my home that are made for adults and children, but I keep this sat on my sofa. So if I'm feeling really anxious, I can just squeeze it and I can smell that really nice scent that goes with that. Now, I've brought this, we call him the Cheshire Cat. He comes from Alice in Wonderland. So if you know my favourite story, then you'll know my favourite story is Alice in Wonderland. And I've brought this cat out to show you today because I wanted him to say goodbye for us. I have lost the link behind me, but I think I can still see everybody. Yes, I can. So we're going to have a practice. Look at this. This is called a grin. So when we smile, right, we talk about a smile is contagious. This means if somebody smiles at you, then you will smile back. But this that this cat has got is called a grin. Now, this is the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland, and this facial expression is called a grin when you keep that smile for a little bit longer than you need to. So I'm going to sit the Cheshire Cat down here, and he's going to sign off for me. So I'm not going to say goodbye today because there's some really friendly people in the classroom today, and I'm going to use the shorter phrase bye. So I wonder if you could write goodbye or bye to show that we're leaving. I was going to leave you with the face of this Cheshire Cat who is going to be grinning, because what I want you to do is I want you to feel happy where you are, and I hope to see you next week in the live classroom. If you're from Doncaster, we have a class tomorrow, and if you're from Rotherham, we have a class on Monday and Tuesday. So bye everybody, see you soon, bye now.